Okay, so this is the first game with the deck we just built, and we're gonna see how this goes. We just queued into a real-time game against the cutter, Matt Newberg. We're gonna throw away one succubus, maybe two succubus. Um, we're gonna throw away two succubus. We really don't have an off-turn play right now, so we're kind of in an awkward spot. I think I'm gonna play Winter Fairy instead of Murderous Necromancer on my turn. Because I need to draw cards. I didn't realize I was going first or second, so I probably should have thrown away a few more cards because I actually can't spend my gold on my opponent's turn, which is the opposite of ideal. Um, so here we're gonna go ahead and play Dark Knight and swing for 5. So he's Unbreakable, Blitz, and Ambush. So I could have played him on my opponent's turn, but there's no real advantage to that because he has Blitz. It would just be for blocking purposes. But not being able to spend my gold on my opponent's turn was a huge knockdown right there because he got to draw 2 cards, so he's up to 6 cards in hand. Which means we're equaling cards because I was going second at least, but it was not ideal. It's not the ideal situation. And here, normally I would end my turn and force my opponent to spend their gold first. But because I don't have an actual play, I have to play my Winter Fairy and hope to draw something, which I did not. So now I'm not in a great spot. I'm hoping that my opponent actually kills my Winter Fairy. So when you play it, you draw a card, and when it dies, you draw a card. Or when it hits an opponent, you draw a card. So it basically requires an answer, which is kind of nice. And I may even end up like killing it myself because I'm in such an awkward spot. Um, so let's see. We just made this deck, so let's see how many cards we can play on our opponent's turn actually, because we didn't really consider that in our deck construction. We just kind of did it really fast. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not counting zeros here, unless they draw cards. Oh, that was great. So here we could wither our own thing and hope to draw, but we're just gonna pass because now we get to hit and hope to draw. So we had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18, 19. Yeah, that's not nearly enough cards to play on our opponent's turn. Usually we want the opposite ratio of about 2 to 1 for cards we play on our turn. They just, he just played surprise attack to put out a Keeper of Secrets. So I think that we're not the only ones on a weird draw this game, because that's a quite odd play. I think he was trying to hit something real nice with his surprise attack, but he appears to have failed. Um, hmm. So here we're gonna play Force Mage Apprentice and shoot the Keeper of Secrets. Uh, oh, we don't have loyalty now. That was my bad. I'm not gonna be drawing cards again. I meant to do that with loyalty somehow. Hmm. I guess I should have played Blue Dragon instead. Because I need to draw cards still. Like most of my cards that are in my hand say draw a card on them. However, they only work on my opponent's or on my turn, so it's not nearly as powerful. Um, Surprisingly, I'm doing pretty well here. I think I established the board pretty well, and my opponent's been having a hard time dealing with my establishment of the board. So even though I haven't been doing great with my card advantage, I've been doing alright. And here's where it's going to start hurting. Alright, we just hit a card that says draw 2. So now we're in a pretty sound spot. Alright, so we're going to pressure our opponent's life a little bit by playing our Guilt Demon. We're going to put the cards on the bottom of his deck that don't say draw 2 on it, because when you draw out, you win. So if our opponent is close to drawing out, we don't want them to get more cards that say draw a card. So I put the Keeper of Secrets, which helps him recycle, and also banishes cards from my discard, but so it goes. as well as the Drain Essence, which gains him 9 life. But if we're close to drawing out, which we're not going to be in a constructed game, then that would happen. Yeah, he's drawing 2 and eating my Guilt Demon at the same time. So I could Wither here to avoid my Guilt Demon dying, but he's just going to draw cards off of it anyways. So it's not quite worth my resources to protect my Guilt Demon here. Um, and because his life total is slightly pressured, and he did spend his gold first already, we are going to play the Succubus though. So we'll show him Zombie Apocalypse and... Or no, not the Zombie Apocalypse. We'll show him Wither and Murderous Necromancer. And we will attack for 6. So the reason we didn't show the Zombie Apocalypse is because our opponent at this point knows that we have no cards in our hand that we can play. So we want to keep him thinking that way. And then we also don't show the Plentiful Dead because it provides a free blocker. In this case, we're going to play the Plentiful Dead because now we're up at 8 cards in hand, and it's a card that will return itself to our hand. But this way we don't have to discard. We just drew Medusa, which is fantastic. So drawing Medusa means that we don't just have to play Zombie Apocalypse to deal with whatever he plays. Here he played Juggernaut, so we are going to play Zombie Apocalypse to draw 2 cards, because the Medusa is not able to kill it. And so we're going to eat 9. And then Blue Dragon's going to go ahead, or no, Wither's going to go ahead and kill the Juggernaut on their turn. And we drew that Medusa by Hasty Retreat, hitting my Succubus. So here we're just going to go ahead and eat the 9, which doesn't feel great, but it's unbreakable on my opponent's turn, so I can't break it. So here we're going to draw 2, just fatten up our hand size. We have a couple strong options for our turn. So here, our first play is going to be Wither into Amnesia. And that's just to ensure that our opponent isn't going to be doing anything sleazy with their discard pile. Now we have a fat hand, so we don't necessarily have to play cards that draw cards. We can just care about affecting our opponent. We have a gazillion cards in hand, though, so no matter what, we're going to have to discard. We're just going to go ahead and swing for 8 and hope that our opponent doesn't have an answer. They could have something like Medusa, in which case we are literally just handing them free gold. But sometimes that just happens. Having 2 Spike Traps in hand is pretty fantastic, though. So Spike Trap is a cute card that blows out a lot of players because no one really expects it. Did he just... He played Zombie Apocalypse to break everything. Okay. We're going to end our turn. And we're probably going to pitch Medusa. Oh, no. We have 7 cards. I'm really good at counting. So Spike Trap really blows out your opponent while also still drawing you cards and gaining you gold. And here we're going to slam that Medusa, show him the Succubus and Murderous Necromancer he already knows about, and get that free gold that we were just talking about. Because we have a 6/8 on board, and they have nothing. They just spent their gold to let me play Medusa, basically. And here they're playing Guilt Demon, so they are going to attack me. And I'm not going to get the recycle out of Spike Trap, but I think I still play Spike Trap rather than save my Blue Dragon. Due to a couple reasons. I'm not sure if I'm playing Blue Dragon on my turn, and I really don't want to take 3 health. or 3 damage. And hand-wise, or card-wise, I'm still up. So it's not like I'm losing a major advantage. I'm lowering my advantage level, but it's not actually because it's trading 1 for 1 still. So that's fine. And now our opponent has to spend their gold first to play the Ice Drake. Interesting. Alright, they have waves among waves of transformation. Before they're able to block, though, I'm going to play my secondary Medusa and kill it. So now I'm going to expect a wave of transformation on my next turn, in which case having Succubus as a Punisher is really strong. So here the Medusas are working as that reactionary card. The Succubus is working as that Punisher. I haven't needed to establish my board, so Murderous Necromancer hasn't been doing any work. On my opponent's turn, I am most likely going to be playing Ice Drake, expending his board, putting him in that spot where he has to, absolutely has to wave. So now if we do draw an evil card, we are going to play the Succubus after he waves. Otherwise, we'll be playing the Blue Dragon and hitting face for 2. Alright, so now we come in for 6 Airborne, and incoming Wave of Transformation. They still have 1 Wave of Transformation in their hand, but that's completely acceptable, because they can't play it this turn. So here, I drew a card. I don't want to show them the extra information of Drain Essence, so instead I'll show them that I have a second Murderous Necromancer. I think that my opponent is playing potentially a Drinker of Blood deck due to having Wave of Transformation and Zombie Apocalypse in their deck. But it could also just be like a good stuff control deck. Alright, we got a Juggernaut coming down, threatening our life total, trying to punish me without actually punishing. Trying to basically establish that they are still the boss. So what were the 2 cards we saw? So we go to the game log, we click on the loyalty effect. So it's Wave of Transformation, which is that one. We know this. Deadly Raid. Okay, so going down to 6 does not seem like an ideal situation here. We don't have a good answer to get around it, so we're going to block with all our wolf tokens. We'll take 3 damage and go to 12, and then probably Drain Essence the wolf, actually. We're going to pass. Yeah, block. We'll take 3 and go to 12. So here, we're just in a weird spot. Where we have to spend our gold on our opponent's turn because we don't want to fall behind, but we don't have a good target for our gold. So we're just going to do it. Alright, it's my turn. I attack for 6. They wave. Can't do anything else. Our Memory Spirit, wow. Getting risky here. Returning, recalling what? Wave or zombie? Okay, you have another wave in hand. Congratulations. So here's where not playing Drain Essence would have punished our opponent for spending their gold here. I guess I should have played Spike Trap. No, I couldn't have. Or I could have, but... Alright, so here we're actually going to play the Spike Trap to potentially draw a Punisher. Because we would like to close out this game. We didn't end up getting a good Punisher, but we got to establish the board, which is still fine. Except for the part where we don't have a play on our opponent's turn. We ended up pretty unlucky with our draws this game, because we have 2 Murderous Necromancers and 2 Blue Dragons in hand right now. But again, we only have like 19 cards that we can play on our opponent's turn that are 1 costs. And that's just not great. And that's including zeros with draw effects. So we definitely want to go back and alter this deck and make it a bit less clunky, adding more draw 2 effects and whatnot. Alright, so what is he final tasking? Is it Succubus? Wow. That's an interesting choice. Alright, so we're going to eat 6. And our opponent ends. Succubus dies. Alright, that was a fine draw. We attack. Incoming Wave of Transformation. And actually we won. because we play Force Mage, deal 2 damage, play Blue Dragon, deal 2 damage, prepare Force Mage, play deal 2 damage. So we did manage to win, even though we missed like at least 4 turns worth of effects. So that's pretty efficient actually. Missing 4 gold worth of effects is huge. Alright, sorry. We're just gonna stop this video here and then we'll play a couple more videos after.